Hi there, guys. So I'm back with another vlog on here, and this is a bit more personal one. So count yourselves lucky as I bring you further into my life and the issues, the ups and downs, the obstacles, the hurdles, whatever you want to call it. Within the last few months, I've been trying to eliminate anxiety, or should I say, try to get used to it until it no longer bothers me. Whichever way you'd like to put it, it's still the same thing. And something that's more prominent, if that's the word I can use, in my life, like throughout the 30 years of my life, I've had social anxiety. When I talk to people, I'm always in my head and I tend to overthink a lot of things. And it makes me sometimes feel insecure about myself. Like sometimes I think like there's something wrong with me. And at times when I'm working on myself and, sometimes I feel like I've got past a hurdle or, I've made a slight breakthrough of any sort, I feel like, it isn't enough and there's still something that's still there and persistent. So with myself right now, like I've, worked on the social anxiety, my anxiety, but I feel like, right now as I'm talking as well and I want to talk to people, there's a part of me that just clicks. And then I talk to people with a softer tone. I become spaced out. My head goes a bit, foggy. I don't know where that's coming from. I feel like my internal organs, along with the vagal nerve that passes in the center of our bodies, and, the internal muscles as well, all just clench. I've been working to just relax it and see if that makes the difference. It does make the difference when I talk to people. Like, I'm more relaxed. Like if I relax all my muscles, I can, have a casual conversation for around 2-3 minutes until again, I'm back in my head. And then what the other person is saying, and if it's a few people, and especially in a social setting, for example, a store, a restaurant, a mall, wherever it is, and there's a few people around, it's not that I'm putting on a mask to perform, but I just become more on guard. Like my responses are not genuine, if that makes sense. So I'm just trying to like ease the moment and be present, be right there, just be fluid and also have answers for, what I'm being asked or stay on topic as well. So just like the normal natural conversations and how they go. But I tend to prepare an answer before they've even asked. And that's sort of an anxious mindset already. And it just comes subconsciously. So the way I try to counter that nowadays is go into the conversation, whatever it is, whoever it is, just go in it and try talk and stay on topic and don't prepare anything in hand. I've done that. I've practiced it a few times. And in the conversation that I realized whenever the questions come like natural questions from a conversation or a topic, the minute it switches to that, because now I don't have these answers prepared, I say 1 or 2 sentences and then they're coming from a place where, naturally I'm trying to just come across as not awkward. So already the first few answers I'm preparing naturally now is coming off like, this person's still anxious, if that makes any sense. So in a way, I mean, basically, I'm trying to stay present in the moment and whatever's coming my way, process it and respond back. But whenever I respond back, it's not coming naturally and the topic dies down, or it goes into another sort of topic where now the whole conversation is like why'd you take it there? And I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm actually just trying to be present in the moment. But this is as far learned or practiced I am in my social conversations now, I know I can carry on working on this, and I will, until I can have these natural flowing conversations where I don't feel like putting too much pressure on myself or the other person, and we'll be able to have a fruitful conversation to some point. So the reason why I'm so, on this topic and persistent about conversation stuff is because I'm trying to break out of social anxiety, of course. And, it's one thing trying to be, not awkward in a social setting. I think that's a lot more easier for me and anybody else that has social anxiety. We can practice just, calmness in a social environment where things are going quite fast, or, noises are up there, pressure's there. You can sort of meditate amidst the chaos and just stay calm. But as soon as you try to have the conversation with the person next to you or anyone around you, for example, now you're doing more than just, grounding yourself and relaxing. You're actually processing things and then responding, and then you're working on your tone of voice. You're working on how good it was or is whatever you said to them is, whether you're staying on topic or not, and as well as, the other person, are they judging me? Fear of rejection. Like sometimes when I talk to a friend, I fear them not, sort of, rejecting me, but it's not coming from a place where I want to be accepted at the same time, just naturally. But anyways, guys, it's just picking up now, and I think it's gonna, chuck down. It's gonna rain like crazy, and I'm gonna leave as everyone else did in the park. But I'll walk and talk. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm trying to, be socially acceptable, not to everybody else, but for my own ego as well. Because in my last few years, I've been sort of put into the back seat, pushed out of everyone's picture and image. I used to be that funny guy that would come around, make jokes, and that was me performing, which I didn't know back then. But they thought that's the natural me. They didn't know that I'm trying to, not be a social outcast back in those days. So now I'm just trying to be me. If I want to be funny, I'll be funny. But if I want to be quiet and relaxed, I'll be quiet and relaxed, and you should be definitely okay with that. If not, then that's for you to deal with. And, basically the social dynamics are changing, and that's something I'm welcoming. It takes a lot of getting used to it and practice from myself. And practice doesn't stop, because whoever you talk to, whoever you have a relationship with, whether it's friends, family, girlfriend, wife, whoever, the dynamics are already set. And whenever you're trying to change your conversational skills, your social, reputation, social dynamics, the other person will now have to work with the new you. So the different person that they're not used to talking to in such a way. So because you already have a set way in their life or books or whatnot, it will of course affect them as well. And that's something that shouldn't affect you too much, but it's just something to keep in mind with. And I've seen that with a lot of friends, even family members. So once you try to not just work on yourself, but try to take control of your life and try to steer the boat in a different direction, you get currents from the front part of your ship, if that makes sense, and you get winds knocking you down left to right. And at times you wonder, is this the right thing that I'm doing? Am I changing maybe too fast? You start to question a lot of things. But for me anyways, I believe I've come way too far to give in to those sort of questions. But the only questions that are remaining is, how I can now move forward with conversational skills. And at the start of this video, I mentioned a month ago, my conversation skills were a bit more quick-witted. Nowadays, it feels like brain fog is settling back, along with anxiety. And when it comes to growth, we think it's sort of a linear way. you know, you go up, you progress, you keep going. I'm actually going through the exact way the anxiety coach, like the way he explained it, like it's going to be dips. There's going to be times where, you know, you'll regret a few of the changes you've made, and it's gonna, you know, it's gonna knock you down. And it's actually making me, you know, like think like, where have I got wrong? And how much more to go until I'm just that bit better when it comes to convos. And, you know, it's just, I guess it's just the way it works. As long as you stay consistent. And all of these, you know, questions and thoughts and feelings, they knock on your consistency as well. But it's a journey, right? And I'm literally walking into the unknown, and I'm just bracing myself for whatever comes. And at the same time, I will take each social encounter and conversation as they come. You know, not bearing in mind that I will be turned down. Doesn't feel good when somebody turns you down or whatnot, but I guess, you know, part of all of it, right? But anyways, I don't want to keep blabbing on here. I feel like I've already, you know, derailed a while ago. But yeah, that's my sort of little update on the last week or so. So my struggle with conversations, staying on topic, losing a bit of my charisma, and the fire within. But it's all good, you know. I'll keep working, and I'll fill you guys in on the other parts and how it goes. But anyways, it is a Sunday, and it's a, you know, beautiful Sunday where it's chucking, but it's not that cold, you know. I like it when it's like this. So yeah, without any further ado, enjoy your day, and please subscribe and share this video to someone. But anyways, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.